in the studio, we have Sean Michael Cox, the Director for International Academic Affairs at Bahcesehir University. Sean, good to see you again. It's fair to say that Trump went into this debate on the back foot with the release of those tapes. Many senior Republicans in the last 24 hours or so saying they're not going to support him. How do you think he did on this debate? Do you think he managed to get those Republicans back on side? And if not, does it really matter at this stage?
He managed to hold his own, considering everything that was happening around him and what was happening with his campaign and within the Republican Party. He definitely did better than he did in the first debate, but I don't think he swayed any more voters to his cause.
Let's talk about his running mate, Pence, because clearly Trump and him are not on the same page, because both candidates were asked about their strategy when it comes to Syria, and rather unusually, Donald Trump said he disagreed with Pence when it came to Syria. Let's have a listen to him in the debate.
I don't like Assad at all, but Assad is killing ISIS. Russia is killing ISIS.
America should be prepared to use military force to strike the military targets of the Assad regime.
Okay. He and I haven't spoken, and I disagree. I disagree.
You disagree with your running mate?
I think we have to knock out ISIS. I want to fight both.
What do you make of those comments? Are they bizarre?
It is quite unusual. It's a surprising revelation that they're not on the same page. And this is a playbook that Donald Trump should be leading. But when he disagrees directly and so publicly with his own running mate, it's almost unprecedented in a presidential campaign.
I mean, there was some concern even that Pence was, these could just be rumors, that he was thinking of leaving Trump, but just to make the point that Pence has put out a tweet in the last hour or so congratulating Trump on his big debate win. So perhaps things are not as bad as they seem. Let's talk about Trump and the issue of tax, because he admitted in this debate, at least right to the viewer, that he hasn't paid income tax, but he couched that by saying things like, well, it's because he understands the tax system. And, you know, that is to his advantage. That is to the voters' advantage that he understands the tax system. Do you think he managed to get away with that?
He did manage to deflect some of the criticism about not having paid taxes over possibly the last 2 decades by admitting to the fact that he did follow the rules and the regulations, and by deflecting that back to Secretary Clinton, saying, well, she was in the Senate, why didn't she do something to close this loophole that he was taking advantage of?
And do you think that damaged Hillary Clinton? Because I personally felt that she did take some tough blows from Trump. Do you think she came out looking all right?
I think overall the debate was a wash for both parties and for both candidates, that they didn't move beyond their base. They didn't take opportunities to knock the other candidate down. There were some blows that were landed, but they could have been more forceful in their positions to appeal to a broader audience, and that wasn't done.
Trump did go into this debate bleeding. Did he at the very least staunch that bleeding? Or do you think things like the issue about the tape is going to keep rumbling and continue to damage him?
I think that the Republican establishment will look back on this debate and see that he has in fact been able to staunch the flow, as the case may be. But will it be enough to elevate his campaign above Clinton's? That's the big question.
On a side note, just looking at these debates, how do you think the moderators did? Because, I mean, this particular debate was also about bringing the audience in. Perhaps we didn't hear so much of the audience, but we heard a lot from the moderators. How do you think that aspect?
It would have been nice to hear more questions from the audience. The moderators at certain times seemed to lose control of the flow of the debate. CNN posted a statistic towards the end of the debate of who talked the most, and in fact, Trump spoke for 1 minute longer than Clinton did. So overall, it was fairly even, but it seemed a bit disorganized.
Okay, really good to talk to you. Sean Michael Cox from Bahcesehir University.